Everybody benefits off our fight. We got to stop being the spokesperson, the spoke group of people who we sacrifice ourselves for them to benefit. And when they get it, they don't know you. And for the love of God, can y'all stop saying that Donald Trump is dividing people of colors? That is bullshit. We've been divided before Donald Trump even ran for office. Stop using that as a scapegoat and as an excuse. We've been divided. And the mere fact that you're saying that we're divided, you knew that we were divided before then, but you're just now saying something now because it affects you. And miss me with the comments, you next. No, we first. You think we scared? We first. That's all I had to say, y'all. Black people, we got to stop doing that. We got to stop sacrificing ourselves for everybody else to have the benefit of it, because they do not reciprocate that energy for us.
In this video, Arab Americans who voted for Donald Trump now regret voting for Donald Trump. Many Arab Americans, particularly Palestinians, voted for Donald Trump thinking that he was going to help stop the war in Gaza. Black Americans have always warned against voting for Donald Trump, but many of these minority groups in the United States of America do not heed to this advice given by Black Americans. So let's watch the following clips. I will come back here and discuss further about it. But before we watch the videos, if you haven't yet liked this video, kindly like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Let's watch the videos together.
You don't want to vote for Jill, vote for Donald Trump. But do not give a vote to Kamala Harris and expect to be welcomed by my community.
Palestine is central for some voters to decide how to cast their vote in the polling booth. But with war raging in the Middle East, can Kamala Harris convince some of them to back her campaign?
Do either of the candidates have a voice that you can ally yourself with?
And none of the major candidates, absolutely not. They're both the same.
She says words such as self-determination, and too many Palestinian lives have been lost, as if there is a number that's acceptable. And I don't understand how my people's lives are lost, as if they can't be found, instead of them being deliberately targeted by the very weapons that she continues to fund and to send.
To all of you who are blaming us Arabs for Kamala losing, I'll tell you this. Kamala had everything already. All she had to do was stop sending billions of dollars to a foreign country. All she had to do was listen to the people, and she refused to do so. She shut down our voices time and time again. What did you think was going to happen? She's a grown woman. She made her choice, and she dug her own grave, and that's it. It has nothing to do with us. Particularly Palestinian voices were even talking about not endorsing the red and blue parties. And what do? Some of you? You vote for the parties that are hurting them in the first place. Did Palestine teach you nothing? Or do you just not care about them?
To make one thing very, very, very clear. We are going to do everything in our power to make sure Kamala Harris doesn't win. Vote for, if you want Donald Trump to win, say that. Bitch, I will vote for Satan if I have to. Remember, no one's free until we're all free. And we can't protect ourselves if we can't protect each other. This is the time for all the minorities, all the movements, all the working class to come together and really build power and really fight against the fascism that's been here, but finally popping its head out and being loud and proud about it. And unless we do something, really come together, it's gonna get real bad.
I came home the day I met Trump, and I gave my son a MAGA hat, and I said, I guess we're there. And he said, ew. His first words to me were, ew. I said, but Baba, he said he's gonna stop the war. And he said, okay, that's it. Give me that hat. We're voting for Trump. And that's the sentiment, not just of an 8-year-old, but of an entire community. If you're going to stop the war, even if I don't like you, I'm on your team.
There's an argument to say that if the Arab American, Muslim American voter base in Michigan doesn't turn out for Harris, that could create a path to a Trump presidency. How does that make you feel?
You know, it doesn't make me feel any way. I think that the Democratic Party should be punished for supporting this genocide. And I know that a lot of people will vote for Trump because they want to punish the Democratic Party because, you know, especially in Dearborn voted Democrat the last election, and it's been a disappointment to the people. The Democrats did nothing but let down the Arab American and Muslim American population. They did not listen. They are not listening to what we want, what we're saying. We've been, you know, protesting the streets all over the United States, and Kamala Harris removed a Muslim from, you know, her rally, and I just think that you know, she should be punished. The Democratic Party should be.
The topic of solidarity between black folks and Palestinians has existed since the inception of the State of Israel and the Nakba, and the issue of black and Palestinian liberation not only mirror each other but are inextricably linked in their histories. Support for the freedom of Palestinians has been an element of the Black Panther Party, of the Black Lives Matter movement, of the ending of apartheid in South Africa. Nelson Mandela, after his release from prison in 1990, embraced Yasser Arafat. In 1997, he said, "We know our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of Palestinians." In the 1950s, Malcolm X was one of the first Black Americans to show support for the Palestinian cause and said Black Americans would show complete sympathy with the Arab cause. Several months before his assassination, he visited the Gaza Strip and was completely critical of Israel. The Black Panther Party considered Black Americans to be internally colonized and stated that Black Americans and Palestinians were essentially treated as third world peoples who were oppressed by colonialism and imperialism together. In more recent history, in 2014, in the Ferguson Uprising, Palestinians online showed support, expressed solidarity, and offered advice to protesters in Ferguson. And there were chants that gained prominence at this time. From Ferguson to Palestine, occupation is a crime. These liberation movements have been linked for decades. And this is one of the first times that we're seeing such a divide where we're being told that our values don't align with one another.
Welcome back. So in this video, many Arab Americans who voted for Donald Trump now regret voting for him. Many of the Arab Americans, particularly Palestinians, voted for Donald Trump because they believed he was going to help stop the war in Gaza. They believed that the Democratic Party was not helping as regards to the war in Gaza. And some even thought that the Democratic Party was funding the war that was happening in Gaza. Now, when some of these things do come up, it looks like Black Americans have the foreknowledge of some of these things because they normally warn against things like this that are about to happen in the future. But Arab Americans went on and voted for Donald Trump, who is not doing anything about the war in Gaza and actually is trying to make matters even worse. Now, many of these minority groups in the United States of America talk about Latinos, Mexicans, Hispanics, Arabs, Black Americans, and other minority groups in the United States of America have had similar experiences. Black Americans have warned against voting for Donald Trump, most especially with regards to mass deportation, where we see a lot of Latinos who were deported back to their countries. Other minority groups also suffered for these things. Always, Black Americans have the foreknowledge of things like this, and they do warn against some of these occurrences. Voting for Donald Trump was one of the things that Black Americans advise other minority groups against, but it looks like majority of these minority groups did not heed to the advice, and the outcome is what we are seeing now. Let me know what you think about all these in the comment section below. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and your family on other social media platforms like WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, and other social media platforms. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Just click the subscribe button down here. Click on the subscribe button. Click as well on the notification bell. And I'd like to see you again in my next video.